Good morning, good afternoon, and good
Welcome to
evening,
Self-Discovery
everybody. Welcome
Media
back to
Network,
another
formerly known
edition
as
of
Self-Discovery
Ignite Your Heart and
Radio.
Soul.
Each week
I'm
we
your
bring you
host, Sara Joy,
illuminating
right here at
shows from those making a difference in the lives of
My guest
others.
today
They've
is
taken their
Joy
own journey. They're here
Resor.
to share their
Resor. No,
skills,
no,
their wisdom to
lost it.
help you
Go
on
blank.
yours.
Please,
You
give us
can
your
see
spelling.
more about us at
Resor, like
selfdiscoverymedia.com
teaser,
and please listen
geezer.
to
Yes,
our
and
wonderful
reason.
collection of
Much easier
shows.
to
Our
remember
next
when you
show
think of teaser.
is
And she is going to give you a teaser today. She's going to tell you how you can find that inner peace. And as her beautiful name, Joy, it is her. I mean, so appropriately named because everything about her and everything that she does is in joy, with joy, to ignite joy, and for us to find that peaceful joy within ourselves. And we're in turbulent times. I know we feel like we're on a constant roller coaster. How do you find joy when you turn on the news or when the bills come and something happens in life and you go, joy? What do you mean joy? How do I find joy? Well, those are the tips that she's going to share with us today, plus a most beautiful book. I have a poem that we're going to read from that book, and that book is an exquisite book designed for kids. And I do have it here. But we're going to be reading a piece on peace, a piece on peace, and we're going to be finding out about this book. Very often I find books that are written for kids are really for the inner child within. And we really need to pay attention to it because as we read it to the kids, we actually find something ignited within ourselves that's been lost or just misplaced. And, that is something that, how do we find that inner peace until we find our joy, until we understand what our turbulence is? Joy, help us, please. We want some joy in our lives.
Greetings, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for this opportunity, Sarah.
Oh, my pleasure. Peace. I mean, we've been trying to give peace a chance for a very, very long time. And we know that, peace isn't an outside job, it's an inside job. And if we want to bring peace to the world, we have to find it within ourselves first. But to a lot of people, that's a very tall order, isn't it?
It is. And I know from my own journey how long I just felt that I could not be at peace unless the world was at peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually wrote an essay about that in my first book, that I got this awareness studying A Course in Miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was some reading in there that day that I probably can't quote at the moment, but it was that my understanding grew that day that, wait a minute, I don't need peace to happen outside of me. I need to become peace. And this has been a journey into that. I am. People say, and that my voice is so calm, and I'm a joy bringer. I bring love, I bring peace. Excuse me. So did I answer the question?
Yes. Well, the thing is, in this conversation about life and peace and everything else, it is about fluidity, isn't it? You were talking about your voice and your presence. And the thing is, when we are on assignment for something, we're very due diligent and everything is broken down. But when you are in seeking of peace, it's a complete opposite, because it is downloading and allowing, isn't it? Just allowing things to come into you, allowing things to open you up, allowing things to show you the way. It's not about, well, I need to know, where do I need to look? What do I need to do? Just breathe and allow, because peace very much often is in the silence. It's in the breath. It's in the simple beauty around us. It's there all the time. But if we're too much in a hurry to define what it is, we actually bypass it altogether.
That is exactly right, Sarah. How beautiful a description of it. And I have come to the understanding that at any moment, I can breathe I can close my eyes and breathe deeply to recover my own sense of peace. And that when I am bringing myself, when my peace is in me, it expands into the people around me. You know, for who I am now, I never run into angry people.
Right.
I don't run into discombobulated people.
I love that word.
I am attracting sweet, loving people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I desire for every person is change who you are inside one little step at a time. And you will find your world outside you shifting
Mm-hmm.
into a higher vibration.
Exactly.
You know, I'm attracting higher vibrational people because I am that. So yeah, I guess if I was going to give tips to that person who is struggling to find peace, there are a number of things I would suggest. One is perhaps don't watch so much news, or
Yes.
you know, I gave up the news years ago because of my life as a child, that we could not talk at the dinner table.
Mm.
We ate dinner with the news.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my
Talk
dad
about
was,
indigestion.
oh my, totally. My dad was a news junkie, and there was no intimacy in that family.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been a journey for me to learn what is intimacy and how can I live that life. But the tips I would have for an individual are lay off taking in negative news, lay off, ease up on doing so much. Look at what you're managing and see what can you not do right now? What can you offer to another to handle? What can you give back to someone who gave you their stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that so many lives are in overwhelm, and I don't think that's necessary, but it takes a consciousness to look and say, wait a minute, what is mine to handle? Another tip about peace is, how are we beginning our days?
Mm.
I begin with a spiritual practice, and it came naturally to me during my years becoming certified in spiritual direction, but I have never let go of having a morning spiritual practice where I write down gratitudes. I breathe into the moment. I select tarot cards from a deck that talks about what animal I am in this day. And today it was a dog. I am, the unconditional loving,
Yes.
the connection that dogs desire to have with people.
And the joy of rubbing their belly.
Yes. And all they live for is love and joy. And, a new smell, a new adventure, the attributes of living like a dog, the innocence, and, they will just go up to a person and smell and be. It's because, and I really recommend, where can we pause in our day? Yes.
You'll smell the roses, isn't it? I'm a huge animal lover, and I haven't had any pets myself for a little while because they passed, and not ready to have any other. Although where I'm living right now, there's a 21-year-old cat. And, there's something about animals that they set off a beautiful vibration of just sheer joy, of love, of gratitude, of an understanding of where you are and what you need. What you need right now. And there's just something about them that they're our teachers. as well as our young children. Look at our young kids and how talented and gifted and articulate they are right now. Is because they haven't yet been programmed into what society thinks they should be. They're allowing themselves to become what they're meant to be. And if we nurture them properly, like your book, I love the title of the book, Designed to Shine. And everybody's designed to shine. Everybody's got a light to step into. But the way we have been brought up in the past has been so dictatorial of what we should be, what success is, what we're here for. And it's so far away from the truth that when you step into the allowing it to happen, finding that light within you and allowing it to come out, discover that beautiful self-discovery of what our purpose is here, that is a beautiful sense of peace and joy, isn't it? Because you now understand what life is about and what you're here to do.
Yes, Sarah, so well named. I feel like I have crossed a bridge. Many bridges on my journey of learning and lessons, but this one that you speak of to me was from that trying, striving, how am I ever going to do my into where I am now of this allowing. And this is how my books have come to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I believe, on backtrack, I wrote in my journal for years, every day, a prayer to become the joy I am created to be. And I believe so strongly that I have been led to classes and books and healers to become more and more, to uncover all of the culture and the parents and the teachers from who they thought I needed to be, so that I could be this beautiful, divine, designed to shine person who I receive these books now. They come. So I can't even express enough that I desire everybody unplug as much as possible from the culture. So for you, if this is, take a break. If you're a constant shopper, take a break. If you are addicted to television shows, take a break. When I needed when I didn't have a television, all of a sudden, when I had been divorced and I moved from a furnished place to an unfurnished place, that broke my addiction to television. And I learned that opens our time up.
Yes.
I had hours in the day to take walks, to pick up sticks, to smell the lilac bush. My life really, really changed when I stopped needing to watch programs on television.
We understand that TV actually is out there. The nature is constantly giving us a performance. Walking down the street, a busy street or a quiet street, there's always something there to entertain you. And there's always something there to enlighten you. And you feel more interactive and a part of it rather than just spectating it. And it's your community around you, isn't it? And you feel that it wraps its arms around you as you walk by and kind of hear laughter or watch dogs play or kids, marvel at something, or just people getting together in laughter and fun, or even the busyness of it, just spectating and participating in life around you. There is the performance of life, and that's healthier for you.
Yes, and what that brings up in me, Sarah, is how I used to live in my head. I wasn't grounded in my body. And maybe some of our listeners are not grounded in themselves or haven't healed into that place of being present, and that place where I was able to quiet the inner critics in my mind. I don't have a noisy brain. I am here with you and with the listeners. My mind isn't trying to figure out something else. And I think that for many people, that is the goal of meditation.
Yeah.
People find some peace through yoga. I believe there are so many paths to truth, to presence, to breathing, and we all find our way eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, because it's not a one size fits all. You know, if somebody's found yoga, that's their thing. For somebody else, it may be something else totally different. And that in that self-discovery, that's what you've got to go and look for, isn't it? You've got to go and look, what is your thing? And, you know, you have a common theme in here in your peace and in your joy, because you very much believe in magic. And so when you believe in magic and, you know, you allow the writings to come through you like a conduit, like a channeler, which is what magic is, when you are open to that, you really do see the magic in everything around you, don't you? And you find that channel that speaks to you, that you ride on. That is your good vibrations that you're resonating on.
Yeah, I love that. And it also makes me remember that I lived in synchronicity longer before I was this version of myself, who is a joy bringer, who is so present. But now the magic in my life is growing, and I am unbelievably grateful to live where I'm living, but it's rather unplugged from the culture.
Yes.
And I think that that is a key to life, that if anybody has studied the Course in Miracles or other texts, you learn that this world is called an illusion.
Yes.
That reality is otherwise. It is the life with divinity. And I know that before I was in this place, I had angst, I had trying, I had worries. And now living in this place, OMG, it's just unbelievable. It's so lovely.
Yes.
So any time I can assist an individual, I am certified in spiritual direction. And if there are listeners who would love to learn a spiritual practice, you know, I can assist.
Right.
And what I know is that having a spiritual practice makes life more beautiful.
You're more in tuned. You know, I'm always speaking to the metaphors that we hear in our self-discovery to know what our instrument is. Once we understand what our instrument is, we learn to play it well, so we can bring it to the orchestra of life and create a symphony of music that ripples out an invitation to everyone else. This is your instrument. It is to bring about the peace and the joy and the magic in people's life. As the show says, ignite your heart and soul. It is to ignite that heart and soul and spirit in someone so they can find their instrument and learn how to play that so they can bring it to their orchestra of life. That's all it is, isn't it? Igniting that flame, bringing about the magic from within.
Oh, that's so goosebumpy. Yes. Sarah, I love how you explain that. And if you had asked me to explain it, I would have used different language.
Yes, of course, because that's, again, your instrument. But it does is complementary to the orchestra. That's the point. It's not about... The trouble is with a lot of spiritual leaders, people mimic them word by word, action by action, and they don't understand it is there to switch your action on, to switch your light on, not for you to copy somebody else's light. Be your own words, but let them come from the soul, the heart, and the presence of you, not from the mind of you. not from the expectation.
Yes. And that is why one of my favorite books these days that I read out loud to my partner on the phone, because Michael and I don't live together. We've been dating 14 months, and we live 30 minutes away from one another. So in the morning and at night, I am reading to him the book is called The Way of Mastery. Are you familiar with this book, Sara?
No. Where I'm in discovery of you as my audience is.
The Book of Mastery is a channeled of Jesus book in the most beautiful language, whereas A Course in Miracles was channeled from Jesus in language that takes figuring out, I think. But this book, so what I would say, how you explained us as tuning our own instrument to bring it to the orchestra of life. From this book, I think I'm getting the language, and I would say, well, what it says over and over is we are here to bring the good, the holy, and the beautiful into the world.
Yes.
And that is a translation of God is love.
Yeah.
And my understanding is we are to be the love, and we are the fingers and the feet and the mouths of God in this place.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
And the more
we're his instrument.
Yeah, the more people that can awaken to become who they are, and you have known this for a long time, Sara, then, I have goosebumps, because that is how this planet will continue to heal and be more and more beautiful. And this is the understanding I had maybe at age 35, reading A Course in Miracles, when I finally realized, wait a minute, I don't have to wait to feel peaceful till the world gets peaceful.
Right.
I need to nurture the peace in me and bring that.
Yeah.
And then, and then what I'm learning is that every time someone heals into more of their own peace, their own love, that then ripples outward.
Absolutely.
And so I know that every person I touch, I can raise a vibration like that, because I am so comfortable in my own skin now. And that also is a gift of crossing this bridge. It was
glad you because I've referred to the bridge a great deal myself, actually. I kind of speak dimensional talk. Third dimensional of the people that still choose to live in the discord of hate and confusion and fear. And the bridge was laid down for us in 2012. You can now cross this bridge and discover your fifth dimensional gift. And that bridge is the fourth dimensional of awakening, like the Course of Miracles, like other things that have ignited our heart and souls and spirits into understanding that the love frequency has all the answers, has all the solutions, has all the cures that we need, and how to switch that frequency on, how to step into that higher vibration. And then once you step into that fifth vibration, that fifth dimension, that is when you step into your gift, like you have, like I have. And in that fifth dimension, we're now here to teach and show people how to even go higher. And that is the beauty of it. And the Course of Miracles refers to Jesus. It really nowadays doesn't really matter what we call the divine presence, but it is a presence, it is an energy. Even scientists are understanding it's quantum energy that resonates at such a high vibration that love is at that frequency. So they're understanding the power of love isn't kumbaya. It is a scientific fact that we thrive better on that loving vibration. Everything grows better. We become better. We become more considerate, more in gratitude, more purposeful, certainly more caring and understanding, most certainly more loving. So therefore, what does that equal? More peaceful.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Sara, that's so interesting too, because when Divinity Divinity visited me,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that doesn't happen to every person, but I needed Divinity to come and say, Joy, you just don't get it.
Right. You're open to receive.
Yeah, Divinity said to me, separation is an illusion. You are in the azalea bush. The azalea bush is in you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Divinity said to me, Joy, you just don't get it. With you in matter and me with the power of the universe, what we can accomplish.
Yeah.
And that happened in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you said in 2012, this bridge happened, and I'm like,
Whole shift.
wow,
Yes.
wow, because I am, I mean, when I received my books, I was so grateful. But when I received this last one, and maybe this is the place to read this rhyme on
Yes, please. Please do.
on peace. But when this book came, I had that memory, Sara and listeners, of the visit from Divinity saying to me, with you in matter and me with the power of the universe, what we can accomplish. Because I felt all of my books are healing and inspiring, but this one felt destined
Yes, yes.
to
It,
go
it
for
had a purpose. It
to
was
go
there as an igniter.
to go further
Yeah.
than my other ones, and perhaps because it came as 26 rhymes. All of my books are alphabetical, and so this has 26 topical rhymes in this book, designed to shine read aloud rhymes for any size heart. Um, attention, balance, change, dance, energy, forgive, and it goes on. Now here is peace. I invite you to close your eyes if you would like to. Peace in your heart, your soul, and your mind. Peace in your family while waiting to dine. Breathe into peace as you sit near a tree. Speak round a fire, your voice, oh, so free. Peace to all beings, because we all matter. Bluebirds and black bats, reindeer who clatter. Sink into peace as a seed that you sow. With peace in your heart, kindness always will flow.
There's so many things that you hit on there that people get literally stop at each section. You know, peace in your heart, your soul, and your mind. So many people speak to maybe the heart and the mind, but how many people pay attention to the soul, which is your channel to the divine? It's how the divine comes and speaks to you. And then the peace in your family while you're waiting to dine, sitting around the table in gratitude, eating a meal and joy of togetherness. What a beautiful, peaceful time it can be. And then, breathe in the peace as you sit near a tree. The tree is, I don't know if you've seen the Judi Dench show on trees. It's
Yeah.
absolutely, oh, yeah. The matrix of the trees, the way they speak to each other. That's why a forest is so strong. They stand together with that matrix underneath where they're communicating and speaking and standing with each other. And when we're near a tree, we're picking up that beautiful matrix vibration. So it's wonderful the way trees speak to us. Speak around a fire, your voice is so free. As the flames dance and crackle and raise up to the sky, allow your voice to be free with it and let it go up. Peace to all beings because we matter. Yes, human life, all life on this planet matters. And when we speak to that, we speak to wanting to bring peace to that. Bluebirds and blackbats remembered who clatter, the chatter that's constantly going on. Are you feeding the right chatter? Is it at the right vibration? Are you feeding into the right frequency? Sink into peace as a seed that you sow. I love this one. Peace doesn't grow outside there, it grows within you, and you can wonderfully plant those seeds in you and nurture them and water them and allow them to grow, and they will the more that you nurture them. And then with peace in your heart, kindness always will flow. You cannot have peace without kindness. You cannot have love without kindness. You can't have any of this. So it's really, really important. I love this. This is just beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, it's never mind the whole piece, but when you break it down, how much it says.
Wow. To have you reflect that back to me and to the listeners was so divinely great. Wow. Yes. This book came, and what I understood was that, wow, this is a children's book in rhyme that will speak to any person.
The child within all of us.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe it is meant to heal a lot of the inner child in people. And, wow.
This is the thing, I've been doing this a long time and counseling a long time, and there's a common denominator. There's the outside friction of, society's demands and expectations of what we should be, that we're constantly fighting because it doesn't fit. This outfit they're trying to make us fit is really not what we're here to wear, and we're always scratching and itching and saying it doesn't fit. And then we have the conflict of the inner child that in some way is either being abused or neglected or never heard or never given permission to be. And I think the reason we're such dysfunctional adults is this societal expectation or religious expectation and a dictation in many ways, and also the inner child that never was given the time to be heard or to be seen. And when somebody's reading this to their children, they're reading it to their inner child. And whether you've got children or not, maybe you want to read it to your pet, maybe you want to read it to your mirror and speak to that inner child within you, because that inner child has to be heard, has to be heard.
Oh, wow. Yes. And everything you said, oh gosh, Sara, you are a beautiful, divine human being.
Thank you.
Yes, you're so welcome. I'm so glad I was introduced to you and the work that you are doing. But everything you said was so exactly true, is so exactly true. And everything that had been put on me and my inner child that had not been honored or seen or heard, and then all the ways that I have been led to heal from my prayer in my journal and divinity healing my inner child, and the way that Michael and I can take a hike and then I say, let's blow bubbles. And we we get the bubbles out of the car, and before I know it, all these other people are coming over saying, may I do that?
Yes. Yeah.
I have a large vision for my future that I'm naming more often, because I realize I'm going to do this. And it is that what I desire, what I desire to do is to drive around and in a van, and I'm going to be fully supported to do this, have sponsors
Mm-hmm.
that align with my vision, to bring bubbles and hula hoops and this book. And I want to give away these things.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a joy bringer in a mobile unit.
Right. Yes. Well, I really do hope you succeed at that, because also where I'd love you to drive right into is a few boardrooms. You know, there's a few boys that are dressed up as men, and they're all, you know, puffing their stuff around the board table, and you bring out the bubbles and the hula hoop, and they'll bring out the kid, and then they'll get far more done. Far more done. Step into the politics while you're at it, if you can bear it. But we've all got too serious, haven't we?
Yes,
And
and
too
that's a
bogged
problem.
down by it. Yeah, exactly. We've forgotten how to be light and laugh and joyous, right? It's like, well, what is joy? How do I analyze joy? Just be it.
Oh my gosh, may I read the poem on joy
Yeah,
at
please do.
the moment? Yes, joy. A feeling so high, so bold and so deep. It's natural, normal, your birthright to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Meet essence of joy on a walk in the creek, then stepping on grass in tender bare feet. Greet joy by yourself or with badgers nearby, with monkeys on treetops, geese streaming through sky. Add hula in sunbeams. Do not hesitate. Share it, embrace it, to joy celebrate.
Yes. Yeah, I say that here, you know, I interview the people that are making the difference. I actually celebrate and support the people making a difference in the lives of others. And I celebrate people like you because you have stepped into your presence, into your instrument, your calling, and you are driven by the heart and the soul and the conviction for it. You couldn't do anything else now other than what you're doing. This is you. And somebody said to me the other day, well, Sarah, if you weren't doing these shows, who would you be? And I said, you don't get it. I am these shows. I am Sara when I do these shows. I am Sara all the time because I no longer have to be separate. I lived a separate life for so long. My cosmic beingness, which was my dictator and my driver, and this human conditioning of what I should be, and they never married together until the cosmic self said, let me show you the way. And then we became one. And that's when my peace came about. When I stepped into that presence of what I was meant to be. And you know what it's like. You've stepped into it. You are joy, literally. You are joy. But bringing it around to people and igniting that in other people is so important, because we have more anxiety and stress and depression in the world than a major war. Because in a war, people came together and they were fighting a common thing. Now nobody knows what they're fighting anymore, but they just know they're stressed out beyond belief. And people wouldn't know how to find joy if you slapped it right in front of them. And so we have to push those little silly buttons in them. There's little tickle for spots on them that they didn't know they had, and get them laughing spontaneously until they go, oh, this is what it's like, I've forgotten, and bring it back into their memory, because they're so bogged down. They're so
Wow. Oh, you're giving me such goosebumps when I'm remembering, because when people would say, so what do you do? Maybe they asked me a few years ago, and I said, I'm writing a book to inspire joy. And every single person said, the world needs that. The world needs you. And I'm like, oh my, I'm doing my thing.
You're just being your being.
I'm doing my thing. I'm being my being. I cannot be otherwise.
Right. No.
This is who I am.
You're your truth.
And yeah, and I am the happiest.
Yeah.
I think because doing our soul's work
Yeah.
is such a gift to our soul, because our soul was longing to do our work,
Right.
is
Well, that's
longing.
what it was here for. That's what we're here for. I live with an 85-year-old who still works and still drives. She's just got an amazing energy, more energy than I have. But she recently, we went to see the new Mary Poppins movie, and we saw it 3 times. And she bought the disc, and I would walk into the living room, and she's watching it, and the body's going to the music, and she's singing along with it, and so many little things, like going to Tim Hortons for tidbits, the joy. And she's intoxicating, because I had got very, I'm fortunately, I do have this lovely little illness that kind of, depression has this thing on me, and it's like sometimes there's a fight, there's a conflict, it doesn't matter how cosmic you are, there's that human side of you. And then just the simple joy of being around her, and the simple things that she likes in life, just lifts you out of it. And to everybody, just grab onto a thread somewhere, a silly straw or a silly hat, something. Grab onto something that's going to bring that quirky smile to your face, a giggle in your chest, a tapping of the toe, opening up the eyes, and just do more of it, right? Do more of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, those Mary Poppins, and I have resonated with Mary Poppins my whole life, and that's part of. And I resonated with Johnny Appleseed, and I think that's why, for me, this popping in,
Yes.
just bringing the joy, bringing the light, bringing up bubbles, is
yes.
It's my path.
Yeah.
I'm going to be driving around.
Yes. And boy, will people need you. You get those people, what you think? And in the meantime, they're jealous because everybody's going, yay, I want to be a part of this, right? The invitation is there. Get out of your grumpiness and come and join the fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a choice. Grumpy,
Yes.
you can be grumpy.
Yeah.
But I lived with enough grumpy people to understand that, no, thank you.
No.
I didn't resonate with door slamming and screaming and anger, and I just went in my room and went under the covers,
Yes.
and I wrote poetry, and I really protected myself.
Yeah, you have to focus that negative vibration. And that's, again, a choice. When you're young, sometimes you don't have the choice for that. The choice you have is to find whatever outlet you do that takes you to that safe place, right, within yourself. But when you're older, you can look at that in the face and say, no, I'm sorry, this is not my vibe. I'm going into a different frequency altogether. And that's the choice that we have to make. We can live in discord, or we can live in harmony. To live in discord is a lot of work. It's very draining. It does initially take some work to step up into the joy and the peace, until you get into such a vibration that it's very easy to stay there, as long as you stay in that frequency. But everything requires you to step up, doesn't it? That choice to step up. What do I want to feed? Because whatever I water, whatever I seed and I water will grow. So if you've got misery growing tomorrow, what did you plant today?
Yeah, it really, life is really simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that somehow it's gotten confusing.
Yes.
But when we can simplify, it gets better. And so I do recommend, what can you release?
Yeah.
There's a video on my website about releasing, and
You have to download. Get rid of the garbage. How can you let good stuff in if you've got stuff fermenting that should have been thrown out, right? Clean it out, flush it out, and then now you're open and ready to receive. And one of the things I love from the older Mary Poppins, because I actually prefer the music from the older one. When you don't know what to say, simply say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It says it all. It's just a wonderful way of expressing that it doesn't matter what it means. It's just say it.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Even though you
Ah,
something that very precocious. Yes, I know it's a great song, and the spoonful of
it is.
sugar, and tuppence a bag, and there were all songs that really resonated with you,
Yeah,
and I think sometimes we just really have to step into silly buggers sometimes, don't we? Shake it out and go and do something that you thought you would never do. I found myself dancing on the Sacre-Cœur steps to people clapping my name and playing music, and I'm just dancing away, and hundreds of people around me. And had I thought about it, oh no, I couldn't do that. I didn't think about it, just did it, right? And I think if we get out of the heads and stop worrying about what people think and just get out and do it, you'll be surprised of how much joy you bring to other people, right?
exactly. Yeah, we've touched on a lot of things, a lot of lessons that I've had in this lifetime, but it was letting go of what other people, what I thought, like my mother trained me to always be so concerned about what other people are thinking
Yes.
of me. And
Yes.
I'm like, wait a minute. No, I don't need to do that. It led me to learn just to love myself.
Yes.
Loving ourselves is a path.
Yes. Yeah. And the
Letting
thing
go.
about, your mother saying, the one thing, and I'm sure you found it too, if you're trying to please, say there's a dozen people and each person wants something different from you, what happens to you? You're shattered. A piece to this person and a piece to that person. And because you're not being able to give them the whole of you, because you're trying to give pieces of you to everyone, you're the one that's broken. Right? So, but when you step into the whole of you, into your own beautiful light, your own beautiful joy, you're now shining bright. That light will shine on all of those people and give them the whole of you.
Yes. And then what we learn, you may have learned this, Sarah, is that there are people that aren't ready for this version of my life, and they have left my life. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Yes, that's all right.
It's okay. Yeah.
But it opens doors for the other people to come in. As I refer to musical instruments, with their instrument. That's how you build the orchestra. You're playing your piece, and then somebody comes along and wants to jam with you. There comes the bass or the guitar or the drums or the flute or the violins, and next thing you know, you've got this beautiful orchestra, right? And you really are making music that's totally resonating out.
Yes. Oh, to each person, healing. I wish you healing.
Yes.
So that you can become a brighter light. It's really life in this place, being rather shiny, is very fun. I recommend it.
Yeah, and as you said, you've got a program there that help people release, and because I can hear people, I can hear the chatter saying, yes, but I've got all of this, I don't know how to get rid of it. Well, yeah, you sometimes do need the help. We need to flush things down the drain, and sometimes we just don't know what to put in the loo to flush, right? And so if you've got a program there that helps people to release, and then they've got that wonderful sensation of emptiness. Oh, now it's my choice what I put in here. It's my choice what I seed and what I water and what I grow. Now, that doesn't mean stuff's still not going to happen to you, but it means you're going to be in a much better space to handle it, right? Much better space to be able to deal with it or avoid it. But most certainly, if, life happens to you, you're not going to get so bogged down by it anymore because you now got the skills and tools to deal with it. But do you find there's an awful lot of people that just don't want to let go?
Oh, yeah. And I was one of those people. I mean, I have lived years and years as a victim. Mm-hmm. I have lived years and years with an accident in my body because I didn't understand. I was unaware of the option of chiropractic.
Right.
I've learned so many lessons, and now my heart has so much compassion for everybody going through whatever we're going through. Yeah.
But you can be understanding,
and you could be empathetic, you could be caring, but all we can be is show that loving caringness and show a path forward with some tools. But it is up to each and every one of us to decide to walk it. We can't do anything unless we get off our ass and decide to walk forward. And I know some people are caught in trauma and it's very hard for them to get out of that loop. I was talking to someone yesterday about patterns and how, you know, how you see children who have brought up with abuse then go on to abuse their own. And you go, how can they do that? Well, because it's a pattern. It doesn't matter what the brain knows. The psyche and the whole DNA is in a pattern that hasn't been broken. And until you break that pattern and interject a new program, that pattern is constantly got to be repeated. So although we can have empathy for that, if they're unwilling to work with you to break the pattern, there's nothing you can do. We have to take responsibility for our own choices in life, don't we?
Yes, yes, we can do it.
We can. Yeah.
I am a person who was able to break a pattern in my ancestral line, and the gifts that I've brought to my sons are enormous.
Yes. Yes.
I'm very grateful I was able to break that pattern.
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy at the time, was it? I mean, looking back, you go, oh God, you know, I didn't need to make it so hard. But at the time, it's hard because you don't know which chisel to use or what to replace with it. So, you know, you've got all these instruments and they're like, what goes what where, you know? But I think if you've got the willingness, I want to break the pattern, that is the first step, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
And then that decision. Mm-hmm. You know, I think joy might fit me better than misery. You know? I think I might get more people with honey than vinegar. So we see that. We look at people and we go, why do people love these people so much? And when it comes down to it, it's because they're heart-based people. They're people that really come from the heart, and they're carrying their lovingness, their joy, the way they exude that positivity out to other people. And that's the reason why we're drawn to them. And that's when we become that light, when we become that heart, you know, we become that inspiration for other people, which becomes an invitation for them to step in and finding their own heart ignition and their own light. Is that it's not for you to go around switching everybody's light on. It's for you to be that beam of light that shows them where their switch is.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you want the hippie van with the bubbles and the hula hoops and the big balloons and everything else, and you want to go all around America?
Perhaps. We'll see. See, I love being home. I'm in astrology. I'm a Cancer. But I love also traveling and also bringing gifts of surprise and joy and light and love. So I think it will be that combination life that I love, which is I'm home sometimes, and sometimes I'm on the road and I'm spreading that. Yeah.
I have a series right now called The Forgotten Children. And I'm interviewing people on foster kids, on abused kids, on neglected kids, and on kids whose parents are totally dysfunctional and just unable to bring them up. And this series is really growing, and there's some incredible people. Some of them have actually been victims of it and gone through it. Other people are working with the children of this. And, you know, it's very near and dear to my heart. And, you know, I'm also looking for the sponsor that will sponsor the book and the movie and everything else that we want to do with it. But with what you're doing, you know, I want to put you in contact with these people, because the book itself and how it can be a tool for them to, you know, speak to the children and giving them that permission to be, you know, switching those little switches on within them, letting them know they matter. And that there is a light within them, that although nobody's shone on it yet, that doesn't mean it's not there. And because, as I said, with all my coaching and all my interviews that I've done,
the common denominator is the broken child within, the neglected child within, the left behind child. And if we could get to the children now and help them, imagine what beautiful human beings they would do and what they will contribute to this planet. So
Wow.
I'm going to introduce you to the people in the organization, because I think that there's a synergy there with your book and what they're doing, and what could really help, because they need all the tools they can get, that can help. So, this kind of book most certainly will. But it also becomes the educational tool for the adults, but at the same time, perhaps even a light into themselves. It's become a disco, all these lights flashing everywhere. You need to take a mirror ball around with you as well.
Oh, maybe. Oh, thank you, dear. I'm getting tired. Are we ending here soon?
Yes, we're ending. Yeah. Let everybody know what other books you've got as well, and how people can get your books, and how people can find you for your services.
Thank you so much. So first is Go Enjoy an Alphabetical Adventure, this book of questions, essays, and poetry that inspires people to love their lives. And Go Enjoy Venture to Your Center, journaling prompts to enliven your joy.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you that first one.
Right, wonderful.
So that journaling book is filled with questions and space to write, so people could go inside themselves and heal what needs to be healed. And then, Designed to Shine, Read Aloud Rhymes for Any Size Heart.
Mm-hmm.
These books, I can send people signed copies when you reach out to me at joyonyourshoulders.com, or if you order them through my website, which is joyonyourshoulders.com. And then they're available in those other clicky places online that I probably don't need to name. And you could also go into any independent bookstore and ask them to order these books.
Excellent, wonderful. Well, as I said, the books for children, but the good books for the child within all of us. So whether somebody needs to read it to ignite their own child, or to read to a child, or working with children, I think it's that beautiful thread that opens up the door to conversation and an illumination, which is what we need. And we all need that. We all need that, help in igniting that joy within us. And, as I said, peace cannot be found until you find it within you. It's when we want to bring peace to the world, we will bring it when we find it, when we become it. And when we become it, we are that beautiful, vibrational, loving peace that goes out there that is so solutional. So we need a lot more of it in the world, because we're out of balance right now. The teeter-totter needs to be balanced out completely. So thank you for sharing your joy.
You are so welcome. It's my joy to be who I am,
Mm-hmm.
and to share as I'm able.
Yes, and for the books and everything, and as I said, there's most certainly the Forgotten Children series, I think, needs these books as tools, and most certainly introduce you there, because they need all the help they can get to help all these children that are just being tossed aside as if they're nothing, and for all the adults that have lost the child within them that needs to be reconnected. And it doesn't need the encyclopedia or the big, huge, heavy-duty program or the psych thing. Sometimes it's just a simple story that just brings it out inside of them, right? And that's what they need to ignite the flame. So thank you for being a flame igniter.
You're welcome. Thank you for being who you are, Sara.
My pleasure. I get the joy of interviewing people like you. Joyous. So, folks, this is a wonderful book. I know we're far away from Christmas, but don't forget there's birthdays, there's Easter, there's all sorts of things coming up. And if for even no reason whatsoever, this is a wonderful gift to give to someone. Maybe you know somebody who's going through a hard time and transition. Beautiful books to give them to take their own inner journey. Maybe somebody has got kids, you're a grandparent, you're a parent. Maybe the boardroom needs these, and they can each read one out loud. Imagine what that difference that would bring around to them. But they're needed because the message is simple, but it's poignant and it goes deep and it switches that switch on, which was what we need in people. So don't forget to reach out to joy@joyonyourshoulders.com and get these books. And even if you don't have kids or you think that your kid is alive within you, perhaps donating these books, even to like our Forgotten Kids series on raising our gifted children. You can always gift some of these books to any one of the associations that we support because it would be a great gift. So reach out to Joy and let's see what we can make happen. Until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. To hear more of these wonderful shows on selfdiscoverymedia.com, just look up our podcast genre list. You will see many shows archives there ready for listening. Don't forget to share these wonderful shows. And if you wish to be a guest or a host, or you have an organization that needs to be highlighted, contact us at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com. Bye for now.